I first experienced the beginnings of brain illness in 1990 during the summer of that year. It was right after my freshman year at Dartmouth College. And earlier that spring, I had just broken up with my first serious girlfriend. I was trying to fall asleep one night that summer in my parents' home. That's when I had a psychotic break. I had that delusion that I lost part of me, and I kept hearing these subliminal voices saying things like, "You'll rot," and I interpreted that to mean I'll rot in hell if I, do something that I shouldn't do. Well, I had this feeling over the last couple of weeks up until that time that my soul was leaking out of my body through my soles of my feet or the top of my head, and that if I let my soul leak all the way out through my feet, I'd go to hell and stay there. If I let it leak out through my head, I would go to heaven and stay there. Either way, I'd be dead. I had heard a couple of voices before that, kind of leading up to it. They would say things like "baby Brandon" and "mixed up kid," like these snippets of derogation, in my head. My parents helped me find a good psychiatrist, which was somebody I trusted and liked. And he prescribed at first one medication that made me feel like there was thunder and lightning going on in my head. I didn't like that at all. There was one point when I was feeling very down during my first episode and the weeks that followed my first psychotic break. I wandered into the kitchen where my dad happened to be, and he saw me there in the kitchen, feeling obviously very down, and he said something I think he'd been wanting to say for a while. He said, "There's a lot of love coming from here, Brandon." And he looked at me, and I thought, I don't feel that, but I want to feel that. I want to feel that love again for my family. And so that galvanized my will to get well again and to feel that love for them again. In 1998, I participated in a cognitive training program, which was an experimental study being conducted at the San Francisco VA Medical Center. The training, I believe, helped me to just feel more comfortable with friends and family. Also, my psychiatrist at the time, I told him about some of the voices I was hearing, the "you'll rot" voice that I mentioned before, and he said, "You tell those voices to go to hell." And that underscored for me that he cared about my well-being, and that was very encouraging. I would say to somebody whose loved one or friend is newly experiencing schizophrenia that deep down, that person is still there, that you remember and that you love. I often have people, when I explain to them that I have schizophrenia, and they don't know it yet, say, "Well, I couldn't tell you I had schizophrenia. I mean, you seem like just an average everyday person." And I like to hear that. Yeah.